I'm Tom Kreager, sports editor, high school sports editor here at the Tennessean. That's Michael Murphy, our guru. Week 5.
Yep, mid-season.
Well, we got to get through this.
After this one.
Folks, thanks for joining us. Of course, we're on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and, of course, live on Tennessean.com. Send me your questions on Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch, and we'll answer them during the show. Let's get right into it. Game of the week. It's kind of a rivalry week.
You know, a little bit, yeah.
You go down to Murfreesboro, you got Battle of the Borough, you've got go in town, you've got Good Pasture Lipscomb, and we're going to the Battle of the Woods, Brentwood at Ravenwood.
Yeah, should be a good one. Both teams 2-0. Obviously, tightly contested. The school's not very far away from each other. This is 17th meeting, so not too terribly old of a rivalry, but it's been close. Brentwood holds a 9-7 edge. Last year was a good one. You remember that one. Ravenwood upset Brentwood 31-23, I believe.
Special teams.
Huge blocked field goal, fourth quarter return for a touchdown. I was there. It was crazy. Ravenwood went on to win a region championship. I think Friday's winner will probably go on to do the same.
And we'll talk about them a little bit later, but, you know, obviously everyone thought Ravenwood was the favorite. Then I think a lot of people thought Independence was the second best team. They're off to a slow start, and I think now you look at Brentwood maybe is the second best team in this league right now. I mean, a lot can happen in the next few weeks. Do you really believe that whoever wins this is your region champ?
I think so, just because, and I agree with you. I think I had Independence above Brentwood. I think we all thought it. Through 4 weeks, though, Brentwood's done some pretty good things. Their lone loss to Cane Ridge, I think,
not a bad loss,
held them to a season low, lost by 3 points. So, I mean, hats off to Ron Crawford and the job he's done with a lot of unknown players.
Brian Garcia, Ravenwood quarterback, versus Cade Granzow, the Brentwood quarterback. And, you know, this is Cade's first-year starter. You had the Shacklet kid last year.
Yep.
But I think Brentwood does so much other stuff. They got the Nicholas kid, and they do have a couple of receivers that can do stuff. The Chase Bishop and the Avery Williams, thanks. And, you know, they've got some guys, some playmakers. What's the strength of this game? Break this game down.
I think, you know, it's kind of beating a dead horse, but Ravenwood, they won 35-7 last week. It still wasn't smooth sailing from the get-go. Brian Garcia turned it over 3 times, 2 picks and a fumble right off the bat. I mean, he bounced back, threw some very nice balls over the top. But I think Ravenwood, this is the week they're not going to be able to afford that kind of slow start, putting the ball on the ground, that sort of thing. They got to go for 4 quarters.
The game we almost picked for the game of the week this week was Lebanon at Hendersonville. What is that, region? 4-6A. Both teams 3-1 overall. Lebanon's got Zion Logue, the big Georgia commitment. Hendersonville with Coach Beasley, his first year. You know, he's off to a good start. Only lone losses to Blackman, which I think was like 24-10 or something like that. What intrigued you about this game?
I think defense. For both sides, it's not. Neither have been flashy. Hendersonville, they've scored some points. They've picked up yards. They've done it the same way they always have. Multiple runners, wing tee, wing backs, that sort of thing. But Lebanon hasn't scored as many points, but they've held each of their first 4 opponents to 14 points or less. That's the main reason they're off to the best start since 2007.
They used to call this the Alphabet League, CPA at BGA. Really interesting game, and I'll be honest with you, the start of the season, I would not have told you that BGA would have been this good this early with what they lost. Of course, they lost Drew Martin, the quarterback there, and they lost some other key pieces on offense. And this is an interesting, you know, Nick, help me out.
I'm going to take a stab at this. I've never heard it said. I've written it a lot. Nick Simpton-Felter?
Okay. He's off to a great start. I think you have a stat?
First-year starter. How's this for your first 4 games as a starter? 70 of 98 passing, 1,134 yards, 13 touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
But they play a CPA team that's really good. Of course, they've got a really good quarterback, Ryan Elvidge, there. And, you know, CPA, we were talking about, you know, they have played 2 of our teams in our Super 25 poll. Last week they played Pearl Cone. 3 teams, I'm sorry. Last week they played Pearl Cone. The week before that they played Smyrna. The week before that they played Ensworth. I mean, Ingle Martin needs to have a conversation with whoever was smart enough to put this schedule together.
Well,
that's probably Ingle Martin, though.
Yeah, and this is no disrespect to BGA, but you're looking at a BGA team that's 4-0, and CPA's, I think, going, this might be our easiest game in a month, maybe.
Yeah,
so.
Well, take away the Stratford game, whatever, but I think that this is a trap game, then, if you look at that, the CPA, BGA. But I think it's not a trap game because I think whoever wins this game wins this region.
Yeah, I think same as Battle of the Woods.
D2 AA middle region?
East. Yeah, it is middle region.
Yeah.
There is no East middle. Boy, it's a lot to learn now. I think the main thing that people are looking at, you got 2 ACC commitments on defense, Kane Patterson, Chico Bennett. I think the quarterback battle is going to be Ryan Elledge and Simpton Felter, I think. Elledge is more of a veteran. He's been around for 3 years. I think whichever guy plays better is going to win.
I like, when we talked about this off air, I like what CPA was able to do against Xavier Shepard, one of the better quarterbacks in the Middle Tennessee area, and we'll talk about some other quarterbacks in a few minutes. But they held them down to how many yards?
2 yards passing and an interception.
Yeah, so they shut them down, and the CPA defense has got some talent. Kane Patterson, Noah Henderson, I believe, plays both ways. Bryce McCormick, I believe, is playing both ways. They got some talent on that one. Last game for this week, I want to talk about the Sundrop Bowl, and I'm a big fan of Sundrop. Started drinking, of course, when I moved here about 16, 17, 18 years ago. The Sundrop Bowl, Cornersville 4-0 at Mount Pleasant 4-0. If I could get out of the office, seriously, I told you this.
I know.
If I could get out of the office Friday night, I would drive down to Mount Pleasant and watch this because they have got a couple really good 1A players.
Yeah. Well, I would say a lot of run by both teams. That's predominantly what they did. Quick game that you might be able to get back in time. I don't know.
I could.
Cornersville, Eli Woodard, Cameron Whitaker. Those are the 2 names you need to know. They've combined to rush for 670 yards, 12 touchdowns. Mount Pleasant's more of a one-man show. Zyshawn Alderson, 610 yards and 7 touchdowns to fuel Mount Pleasant to a 4-0 start.
The interesting thing, again, this is something we talked about a little bit off air. We never even heard of Zyshawn a year ago.
No.
It was Ty Pillow this and Ty Pillow that for Mount Pleasant. So that's the interesting there. That's an interesting tidbit there. What they've been able to do with a different running back there, and they've got a couple receivers. They throw the ball a little bit, but they are Zyshawn a lot. So kind of gives the next topic, and threw this out there, and kind of a rapid fire here. Who do you think right now is the best quarterback in Middle Tennessee right now today, entering Week 5? Here's your candidates. All right, the candidates that I chose, folks. I'm sorry. Ryan Elledge at CPA. We talked about him a little bit ago. Bobo Hodges, Maplewood. Stone Norton, Davidson Academy. Xavier Shepard, Pearl Cone. Bryce Wallace, Giles County. Rank them for me 1 through 5. 1 being the best.
I'm going to go 1 to 5 or 5 to 1?
Give me 1 to 5.
Okay.
Number
1, Bobo Hodges, Maplewood.
Okay.
Lights out this year so far. Number 2, I'm going to go Stone Norton, Davidson Academy.
Okay.
And 2 and 3 were very hard to separate.
Yeah.
I got Stone edging out Bryce Wallace. I got Wallace at 3.
Okay.
Number 4, Ryan Elledge. I think he won that battle last week against my number 5 guy, Xavier Shepard of Pearl Cone. And that's how I'm going.
Not a bad list. Here's my list, folks. I'm going to go number 1, Bryce Wallace, Giles County, 65 of 104 passing, 1,000 yards, 9 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 111.1 rating. The interesting thing on that is 3 games. They had a bye first week of the season. And, we talked about 2 and 3 being close for you. 1 and 2 was real close for me. Stone Norton, Davidson Academy, FIU. He could easily be that number 1. 4 games.
He's probably got the best stats in 4 games.
Well, 53 of 72, 1,041 yards passing, 11 touchdowns, 1 interception, 149.3 quarterback rating. 3 was Bobo Hodges, 4 was Xavier Shepard, and 5 was Ryan Elledge on that. But I think 4 and 5 could be interchangeable too. What do you think sets Bobo apart?
I think he's the dual threat aspect. I think he's probably the best athlete of anyone on this list. He hasn't run for a ton this year, 25 carries, 176 yards, and a touchdown. but when he has to, he can go. And more than gaining the yards is freeing up time in the pocket. If something breaks down, he can make time for himself, and I think that's what makes him the most dangerous.
Here's the thing about Bryce that I like, and you probably could throw in Stone. I just think in this same conversation is Bryce has been such a seasoned quarterback. He's been seasoned by his brother the last several years, and I mean he knows that offense so well. He stepped right in at Giles after transferring from Marshall County. Haven't skipped a beat. And I was watching your video, and it just amazed me the arm he has. I mean, he's a smaller guy. Now, this is who I think the best quarterbacks in the city or in the Nashville area. This doesn't mean these are the best college quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I mean, Bryce Wallace, if he's his brother's height, if he's 6'1", he's got a lot of college offers going on right now. He's not. I mean, he's like 5'9", 5'10".
5'10" is a hands-off we can't offer him as a quarterback.
Exactly.
Doug Flutie never existed.
Exactly. So that's what I think Bryce hurts Bryce. I just think he's got that it factor.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a gunslinger. He can throw it all over the place.
I don't think you've seen Bobo play enough. Talking about an it factor.
There you go. Maplewood, send me some highlights of Bobo this year, and be glad to put it on our website, and we'll get some highlights up there. Who am I sleeping on? I know that you got a list of people. Kreager screwed these up.
I think there's a lot of people.
Oh boy, here we go.
Number one, we got a Mr. Football winner that we did not put on our list.
Yeah, we did.
Gavin Stanfield of Class 2A Waverly. He went off last week.
Like 392 yards.
Another 2A guy, Ethan Cobb of Eagleville.
Who was a Mr. Football semifinalist, I believe.
Semifinalist last year.
Dual threat guy, really good.
Hillwood's Hale Page has the most yards of any quarterback in the state.
How many yards is he?
1,200, something like that. I mean, he's up there. He's going for 350 every game, it seems like. And then, we mentioned him early, BGA's Nick Stimpenfelter. Sorry. I apologize if I got that name wrong. But I think those are the guys that have a legit argument to be in this list.
Obviously, it's going to play itself out when we do our all area teams and all that stuff. So people don't get too upset if we're 4 weeks into it. We're just trying to kind of start the discussion of who the top guys are this season. Looking back at week 4, interesting games. Obviously, you dealt with 80 minutes of lightning.
Yeah.
I'm glad you did not have any golf clubs holding up in the air. That could have not turned out. It might have been a solo.
Yeah, it was frustrating, but as I watched the weekend of football unfold, I didn't feel quite as bad, especially after that Titans game on Sunday. I feel like I got off easy with 80 minutes.
Yeah.
But
how Ravenwood beats Page? You started slow. What do you think of Ravenwood and Page?
I thought once Ravenwood got rolling, stopped turning the ball over and putting it on the ground, throwing picks, they clearly showed they were just a much stronger team than Page. I don't know. Page probably didn't play their best game, but I think even if they had played one of their better games, it wouldn't have mattered. Anthony Holmes, Tony Rice, Shane Craig, there's just too much speed on Ravenwood.
Difference between 6A and 5A, I think, right now, too. CPA beats Pearl Cone, I believe, was 18-14. Came from behind to win this game.
Yep.
And we talked about this earlier. 3 wins over Super 25 teams, and this CPA team is pretty special, I think.
Yeah, they're battle tested, and we talked about their schedule. They got some big boys. The rest of the way, they got to play Independence. They got to play Hillsboro. It doesn't get a whole lot easier for them, but that's only going to help them come playoff time. I
do have an interaction here on Twitter. I've been told it's Semp Tim Felder. Semp Tim Felder. He's already got a Valparaiso offer. So
Valpo.
I appreciate the update on the pronunciation. I'm sure we will mispronounce it again.
Probably.
But we're going to try to keep that to help us out.
We'll spell it right.
Yes. MUS beats previously unbeaten NBA, and I think we talked maybe even a week ago how NBA, they knocked off McCallie. Is this? Are we looking at BA McCallie round 4 or 5 or 6, whatever it would be?
BA NBA.
I'm sorry, BA NBA, and now MUS beats them, and now I think we wonder what in the world is going on in Division II AAA. Because I think we started to have an idea of how it was going to pan out.
Yeah, I mean, we think Brentwood Academy is the best team, right? We think, but
they haven't really been tested
we don't
yet.
Really know a whole lot. There haven't been many region games played yet. I think Innsworth McCallie, I think that's going to be very telling this week. We'll see if McCallie's for real or if maybe they were a little overrated. NBA, I wouldn't sell them. I wouldn't just get rid of them right now because they
I
lost to MUS. No, their defense is outstanding. I mean, even the big win over McCallie, they gained, I think, 170 yards of offense. So they're a defensive team. I think last week one just got away from them, but this is a team that comes back. I mean, 4 straight Blue Cross Bowl appearances.
You know, like I said, I think it's early. I think, a couple years ago we had Ty Chandler there, and it was just let Ty run left, let Ty run right, let him run up the middle, whatever. Just open a hole, let him run. We haven't had that last year. They got there a different way. Quarterback, I thought Ty Allen did a heck of a job orchestrating that offense. Again, this year there's not. It's defense. I mean, there's not really, week in and week out. There's no one that really just dominates for the Big Red.
Part of it is there's not one player we can point to. They're rotating quarterbacks. They're spreading the ball out, running it, and I'm sure that's by design. But I mean, it makes it hard to really single out one guy. Obviously, they got the 2 big namers in the Jacksons, Jackson Lampley and Jackson Hanna. But
I've also been pointing out DC Tabscott from Father Ryan. He's a sophomore. He's already got an SEC offer. I'm not sure who's offering him, but I watched him. And he's young. He's got to get some meat. He's got to get some people around him. I think to make him to be able to showcase what he has. I mean, obviously he's got Seamus, and I think they need some more stuff with him.
Well, yeah, I know they don't have a ton of players overall. That's one thing I've been told about Father Ryan. So I think their numbers are playing against the league they're in a little down. I know Tabscott's got to be something special if he took that job from Seamus. And obviously Seamus is playing wide receiver, so it's not like he's benched. But to win that job after the year Seamus had last year, there's something special about him.
Going back to our poll, quarterbacks, just so you know, 249 votes have been cast. Bryce Wallace, 40%.
Running away with it.
Run away. Go, Bryce, go. 29% Stone Norton, 17% Bobo, 14% Ryan Elledge. We've got some write-in votes for Cobb, Ethan Cobb, maybe a couple other ones. So, so we'll see. Someone actually mentioned Gavin Stanfield.
Okay, well, we mentioned him first, so
they were good. We're good there. We're good there. Hillsboro last week beats Independence 20-17, and we talked about this earlier in the show. I think we both thought Independence is going to be pretty good this year. Nathan Cisco, a year older, more mature, is a second-year quarterback. Been in there, now he's gotten all the reps. And then you throw in the transfer from Summit, quarterback Ethan Cash. You've got T.J. Sheffield, who I'm all in. He can play. Isaiah Collier
can also play.
He can play. And they're looking at 1-3 right now, and I think they're in some very interesting situations. Especially, they lost to Hillsboro 20-17. The Hillsboro team that lost to Gallatin the week before.
The Hillsboro loss was a little puzzling, but I looked the week before. They gave up 62 points to Centennial. 62 points in a 62-40 loss. I think, if they got to
fix something,
they got to go to Franklin this week, and if they don't win that one, you're possibly looking at 1-6.
Yeah, because then they have who they have.
You got at Brentwood, at CPA.
Yeah, there's some in Franklin. The way they're playing, I mean, they're playing everyone tough.
Yep.
They're playing everyone close, so that's not a gimme that they're going to win this weekend. I think maybe I picked them. I picked Indy to win, but that's not a gimme for sure. And then, like you said, Brentwood, CPA. We talk about the CPA team and how good they are.
And this is a 3-game road stretch. Those 3 games. So I mean,
wow.
Best of luck, Indy.
Some big wins. We'll see what they can do. I mean, if they win this week, they're back in the swing of things.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if they lose to Franklin and if they lose to
Brentwood,
that's not good for your region standings there at all. Especially with the loss to Centennial already.
Yeah, that's why I think Ravenwood and Brentwood, it's theirs to win this region, I think, at this point.
Well, folks, that's going to do it for this week in the Bootleg. Thanks for joining in. I'm Tom Kreager, high school editor here at the Tennessean. That's Michael Murphy. Any questions we didn't answer, give me a shout at Kreager on Twitter. That's at Kreager, or send me an email at tkreager@tennessean.com, and we'll put it on the agenda for next week. Thanks for joining in.